Now it's time once again to bust out the shooting star, and today I've got yet another special injector to show you. So what other injector could I be talking about? Well, we've used the 1x1, which basically means the two tubes are the same size, and we've used the 70-30, which means one tube is essentially smaller than the other, which gives you some pretty cool effects. Today, however, we have a third injector, this guy right here. As you can see, there's no bar connecting the two. For those that are familiar with milking the cow or getting a swirl effect, that is this bad boy. If you've never seen this before, you can do it with a block and a regular injector, just like this, but I'm very curious to see how the shooting star handles it. This is also the first opportunity to use the new Lureworks Porosol Pro, my new plastic. First time using that in the shooting star, so I'm very curious to see how it functions. For the pattern today, I'm reaching back into my childhood to a Strike King favorite. It always caught my eye, but I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. And that was Strike King's version of Blue Craw. Green pumpkin swirled with a blue highlight, and there's different ways to do that. I actually like more blue, and of course, we have the Wall of Joy behind us, and I can't help but add some tasty stuff from that to this. Let's start with the top color first, which is going to be Lureworks Green Pumpkin 109 Classic, 25 drops per cup, 3 cups, so 75 drops of this stuff. What a beautiful classic color. I don't know, there's something about green pumpkin, man, it just looks so fishy. And I did 25 drops, by the way, because there's two key things. Should have mentioned this earlier. Two key things when you're doing swirls. One, saturation. Both colors have to be saturated, otherwise if it's translucent you'll lose how they mix together, and because they're going to be overlapping each other in the swirl, so you got to have good saturation, hence 25 drops here. Could even go to 30 if you wanted to. I'm doing 25 per cup. The second thing is low temperatures. If your temperatures are too high, then the plastic thins out and it's going to want to mix and really become just one color. So you want super saturated colors, or at least more saturated than normal, and super low temperatures, which is perfect for this guy. So we got our pigment down. Green pumpkin is good to go. Time for flake, and of course, I'm going to be doing some extra large black from Barlow's. Also going to do medium black and small black to get all of that texture and juxtaposition and character. Starting with our largest, 1/8 of a teaspoon per cup. So 3 of the 0.125 extra large. Same deal with the medium, 1/8 of a teaspoon. 1, 2, 3. Heaping is okay on that one. A little extra never hurt anybody. And then for the 15, we're going to go down to a 1/16. 1, 2, 3. Now I had toyed with adding all kinds of stuff. Well, there goes my air compressor. Anyway, adding all kinds of stuff to this, including 8-bit baits, and I ran a couple versions, but man, for reasons that we will talk about in a little bit, I just like it, for this color, I like it to be just like it is, because doesn't that just look fantastic? As I mentioned, I want a more blue than kind of drab green blue. So I've seen this color made by a green pumpkin top, or a green pumpkin one side, and then the other side green pumpkin as well, and just a heaping ton of blue highlight. I just don't like the look of that as much. I actually like a little punch in the blue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually go to Barlow's Pearl Blue. We are gonna tone this down a little bit with some black, but then we're gonna spike it with a little bit of 8-bit baits. First of all though, we need, these are a little thin on the pearl side, so we need 50 drops of this per cup, so I got some work to do. 150 drops for this tub, and boy does it look beautiful. Wow! From the colors that I could see online and from my memory, it did have kind of a pearlescence to it, the bluish portion of this bait, so I think it's going to work. We do need to tone it down just a little bit though, so Lureworks black, and we're going to do 2 drops per cup, so just 6 drops. Alright, that should help kind of relax the color a bit once it gets incorporated. You see, I mean, it still is very blue, but it definitely tones it out, and when it gets combined with the green pumpkin, I think it's going to be even a little bit more subdued. But as soon as I subdue it, I want to ramp it back up, and we're going to do that with Borealis. 1/16 of a teaspoon per cup. What this is going to, well, actually we'll talk about it here in a second. Let's just get it in and you can see. 2 and 3. That kind of gives you a little bit of a clue as to why I chose it. You see the green? Now granted, it's a different green, you know, than drab, green pumpkin, but I think that shade kind of plays off of the green pumpkin a little bit and gives this whole thing even some more sparkle, but it's kind of subtle sparkle, right? That's a lot of pearl powder in there for the hollow shift to work up through, so it's not overpowering. It's just a little bit of that, see that? Just a little bit of that shimmy. All right, my pots here are at like 290. That is definitely warm enough for us to go ahead and pour these guys in there. In this case, it doesn't matter, right? We don't have a top and a bottom because it's all gonna get swirled together. So I'm gonna put my blue on this side. Port closed, closed, closed. Don't wanna make that mistake again. It makes a holy mess when you do. And pour on in. Scrape the sides. Of course, the pot is warm, almost 300, so any of this goopy stuff will be melted down inside the pot as the stirrers stir. Get our top back on here and turn on the paddles. There you go, she's a turning. And for the green pumpkin side, it's been in the microwave while we worked on the blue. Pour that one in as well. Oh yeah, so that one, all that black flake settled to the bottom. So that's good. We want to get it in there so the paddle can start moving and get that flake suspended. Turn the paddle on, it is rolling as well. I'm actually going to let these cook for a little while. I have a bunch of these craws already made in different variations. So I just gave you the formula or the recipe that we're going to use for this one, but I wanted to show you what a couple spin-offs look like in case you want to tweak it. So this started with just a plain green pumpkin with that pearl blue just to see what it looked like, but I couldn't even shoot that one without adding a little bit of 8-bit bait to start out with in the blue side. And what I started with was this guy here, Sonic. And that yielded this guy right here. So very strong blue, right? Looks pretty good. Not a whole lot of sparkle in the blue, but I don't know. Probably, of all the ones you're going to see here, probably the closest to the original, and it catches my eye. And I'm going to drop the the recipes for these alongside here so you guys can pause the video if you see one that you like and you want to know how to make that one. All of these have the same flake. 1/8 of a teaspoon of extra large black, 1/8 of a teaspoon of 35 black, and a 1/16 of a teaspoon of 15 black. All of these also have 50 drops per cup of the Barlow's Pearl Blue, and all of these have 2 drops of black in the Pearl Blue as well. So that's going to be consistent across the board. What I just showed you has 25 drops of green pumpkin. I did monkey with that, and 1/16 of a teaspoon of Sonic. The next one was this guy, which is kind of hard to see how it's different, but if you look close, you can. The blue in this one is more subdued. It actually went up to 30 drops of green pumpkin for the top, so it's more saturated on the top as well. Still a 1/16 of Sonic, but then I put 3 drops of green pumpkin in the blue to kind of drab it down, tone it down even further than the black. So the third one here, I'll show you in a sec, 30 drops of green pumpkin, a 1/16 of Hyrule. So that is a colored hollow shift. I put that in the green pumpkin, and then 3 drops of green pumpkin in the blue to drab it down. This is where I switched from Sonic to Borealis. So that result is quite sparkly. In person, you can see a lot of gold sparkles in the green, and of course the blue. This is now Borealis, so you're starting to get some of the green aspects of Borealis coming through. It's not so much blue as it is blue-green. So if you like that one, throw a little Hyrule in the green pumpkin. Number 4, again, 30 drops of green pumpkin, 3 drops of green pumpkin in the belly, Borealis in the belly again, 1/16, but instead of Hyrule in the green pumpkin, I put a 1/16 of Ghost Trout. This is a green base with some pinkish in it. So definitely the lightest of all of them. It's almost like a dark watermelon, which isn't a big surprise, right? The Ghost Trout really lightens up the green pumpkin, and then you have the green going on inside the Borealis. It was a little too light. It was just too light for me. Definitely not what I was looking for. So the last one was, oh yeah, the last one was 25. So I went back down to 25 drops of green pumpkin, and then I still added 3 drops of green pumpkin to the blue and a 1/16 of Borealis, which gave me this one. A little bit more translucent in the green, not too much, but it was still, I don't know. This is another really, really good one. And if you follow me on Instagram, you got a chance to vote on all of these. The votes were all over the place. 5, 3, they kind of were up there as the top 2. So what I did with this one, as you saw, we didn't put any green pumpkin in the blue. I wanted more strength in the blue, like the first one, a little bit stronger, but I really like that Borealis to bring out the green. I have one over there, but I'm not going to show you because I shot that with a block. We'll compare. What does it look like from the block, just like you guys can do, or anybody that doesn't have a shooting star, and then what does it look like from the star? All right, here we go. Got the injector in the middle. It's been warming up on the warmer down there, but moved it over to the middle since everything is nice and hot. We're going to draw the plastic independently with each one of those. So what I did is I made made a mark. That mark is the blue side, just happens to be blue as well, but that is the blue side. So when I put it in, I'm going to be looking for that mark to be on the top. There's the mark. Going to be on the top because the valve turns that way. Mark is over here, and then when I put it back in, make sure that the mark is on my right. Put it up top. You know what I'm trying to say. One more thing. So here's our molds that we're going to shoot. I have 2 Lurecrafts, then I've got a crappie bait and a surprise back in the back. But the reason I have 2 Lurecrafts is because I want to experiment, I've never used this before. So we're gonna shoot the first one just like you would normally think, right? With one color being on one side, one color on the other, like you were gonna shoot a laminate in a traditional block. This one though, I actually wanna turn it. Mark is on the top as noted. Twist it. The valve is open inside. We'll grab our green pumpkin first. Now our blue. Okay. Spin. And now these go down super easy, I've heard. So we're just pulsing back and forth. And right there is the end. Give it some more. Spin. And pulse. Oh boy. Okay. I don't know if that worked all that well because I feel like I pulsed it too fast. Mark is over here, by the way. I was paying attention. Should we just check out the craws and see if I screwed it up before we commit to everything? Nah, go big or go home, right? These are smaller molds, should not require as much. See if I can just barely pulse. Crappie bait, right? It's really small. Not going to take very long to get that one filled up. And then this guy to pulse, 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 pulse. Does it help to actually say it out loud? I don't know. All right, no time like the present to see if this worked or if I royally hosed up my first attempt at a shooting star swirl. Oh gosh, there we go. Interesting. Okay, I have a lot of blue on the belly. Maybe not the greatest start. There's some green right there. See some green in that one. If the top is all green, then we definitely have a problem. But let's find out. Huh? Oh, interesting. Okay. There's a couple of them that turned out, wow, turned out really nice. You see there? Uh-huh. I like the green, right? The green pumpkin kind of came through there with a swirl just on top and on the bottom. I like the claw there. That's interesting. In almost all of the others where I shot it with a block, the claws looked more like that. They just kind of mixed. I didn't get a swirl in the claw. So that is pretty darn cool. Saturation wise, I mean, I don't think that they're too far off. So it's not like the blue is overpowering. I guess I could go up to 30 drops if I really wanted to with the green pumpkin. That's a good start though. Let's see if it makes a difference by turning the injector parallel. Oh, okay. Look at this top one right here. Look at that. That's what we're after right there, ladies and gentlemen. See the green there, the green there, that. Interesting. Oh, look at the sprue. Left, right on the sprue as opposed to back forward. So that will be interesting to see if this side is mainly blue and this side is mainly green. Looks pretty good. The blue still seems like it's overpowering a little bit, even on this green side. Then on the other side, you got a lot of blue with kind of more swirls of green as opposed to primarily green with swirls of blue. One thing that we could do, we could definitely increase the saturation on the green to see if that would counteract or drive it home a little bit more. What we actually could do is reduce the temperature on the blue side and or increase the temperature on the green side, so the green is going to move a little bit faster, it's going to spread out a little bit more, and the blue will be a little bit slower. So we're going to do that next. First though, I wanted to see this crappie slayer. More cavities, typically the better. Usually you get a better swirl with more cavities because it's like, it's more places for the plastisol to get mixed up and get redirected. Let's find out if that is the case. The top is looking encouraging, right? Still a lot of blue. And then the bottom. Yeah, we're definitely going to decrease the temperature on the blue. There's potential here, so let's go ahead and look at this last one. I picked out the 4-inch jerk, which is a 4-inch soft jerk bait, 7 cavity. See that? The reason is even when you're trying to laminate a fluke or a soft jerk bait or whatever you want to call it, there's a huge belly slot that goes all the way down the bait just about. And no matter what, you always get some measure of swirl when you make them. So I thought, let's use that to our advantage and shoot this as a swirl. Again, more of a blue bait with swirls of green, which is not a bad thing. I was just looking for a green bait with swirls of blue. Let's see how the bottom did, because this is where a lot of that swirl should happen. And there you go. See that green stripes almost coming through? Looks like a shad dot right there as well. That's kind of crazy. But I think that's the the result of the right? You can literally see layers of the color. I think I'm going to reload these guys, put it back in, and we're going to do two things. We're going to increase the saturation on the green pumpkin. I'm going to go ahead and add 15 drops to take it up to 30 drops total, and I'm going to increase the temperature on that side 5 degrees. And you know what? I may even drop this one all the way down, the blue side, all the way down to 300. Numero dos, with adjustments. Actually, it's closer to like 12 drops in the tank because we'd already used up some plastisol. But it's equivalent to 30 drops in the green pumpkin, and of course the temperature change. There we go. Okay, all right. I'm seeing more green on the belly than we did before. That's a good start. Let's see about the top. Oh, looky there, That, yes! This is what I was after, folks. A green bait with swirls of blue. Look at the claw. That blue streak in it, even a little bit, I think on the very tip. Yes! And it's not a fluke. They're all like that. Still more blue on the bottom, but I'm actually okay with that as long as the top looks like that. It's all about temperature, I think, probably even more than saturation, but the saturation certainly helped as well. Here's the Slayer, see if we got better. It's gonna say better results, and yes! Look at that, look at how much more green it is. Look at this right here. It's exactly what we were after. Oh my gosh, those look freaking awesome. So this is the fluke, or the soft jerkbait. Oh yes, 3 for 3, way better. Look at that. Look at the swirls. You can see the stripes. That thing is striped like a candy cane all the way around. That little blue streak in the tail on into green. Yeah, that is cool. This, by the way, as promised, was my block swirl. Look at how good that looks. So you guys can get those kind of effects by milking the cow with a block just as well as I can with the star. Wow, this was super cool. Thank you guys, as always, for coming along with me. Hope you enjoyed the ride. I got some more baits to make, so until the next time, see you guys in the shop.